and welcome to another Windsor Cake Academy tutorial. Today I'm just going to show you how to make 3 really simple Christmas cookies. Okay, we're going to start by making our really cute melted snowman cookie. So all we're going to do is take our stiff consistency Royal Icing with our PME tip 2.5 and just dot down on the surface and lift up. Let gravity do the work, and we're just going to make our little splat shaped puddle. Back to the other end and then just touch down again. We're going to go over to our flood consistency icing now. Once again, I'm just using a squeeze bottle, so I'll just shake it all right to the tip as much as I can, and then we're going to start filling our cookie right by the edge, and we just do a full outline, making sure our cookie is going to be really nice and full. So we've done our outline, just fill in the rest, remembering to keep it nice and full. Okay, once we're at that stage, we can just use our scribe tool to make sure we've got it right up to the edges, knock out any bubbles that we might have. We'll do a little bit more over here, just drag that all that way. Okay, and that looks good to me. Where I joined when I was starting, that's where I'm going to pop my little snowman head, and it's just a marshmallow. I've just trimmed a little bit off the end with a pair of scissors, and I'm just going to pop him on there. Now I'm going to leave him to the side for a few minutes because we need to let him dry off before we can start adding our details. So our wreath cookie this time is exactly the same. I just put an outline on it, the same as I did for the snowman, exactly the same. And I'm using my flood consistency icing in my squeeze bottle, and again going right up to the edge. You need to work reasonably quickly because for this cookie we're going to do wet royal icing on top of wet royal icing. So you just want to get that filled up as quickly as you possibly can. Nice and full, and again using our scribe tool just to make sure we're right up to the edges. And that we've got no air bubbles in there. Wipe off the excess. I'm just going to give that a little shake to get rid of that little mark. There we go, perfect. So now I have my green royal icing in a flood consistency, and I'm just using the squeezy bottle technique again. And all I'm going to do is pipe some dots all the way around the edge. You want them to be reasonable sized dots. These are going to be our holly leaves. But it's important to do this reasonably fast because you need all of the icing that's on the cookie to still be quite liquid and not have formed any sort of crust on it. More on that one. There we go. Okay, and now all we're going to do is take our scribe tool right through the centre of all of our green dots. There we go. And what we'll do now is just pop that to the side again because we want to let a surface form on this before we put on our berries. Okay, so now the surface of our snowman's firmed up a little bit, we're ready to pipe on some detail. So first of all, I'm just going to take some light brown Royal Icing in a stiff consistency and just pipe on some little stick arms. And one over here, and they can be totally going in odd directions because don't forget he's a melted puddle, so he's got bits all over the place. Next I'm going to take some orange Royal Icing to do his little carrot nose. So what I'm going to do is just let it build up and build up and build up and then drag away. And that's okay if that stays sort of sticking out off the surface. That's fine because it looks like it's the real carrot sticking out there. And lastly, I'm just going to take some black Royal Icing, and what I'll do is just pipe on some tiny little dots for eyes. I'm going to pop his smile down into this melted snow, and not forget his little coal buttons as well. So just slightly larger dots for those, and they're just swimming around all over the place. And there we go, all done. So next up I'm going to show you this really cute little snowflake, which is really simple. It's just white on white icing, and I've already pre-flooded my cookie, which I've just shown you, so exactly the same way. And all I'm going to do, again, stiff consistency Royal Icing with a PME tip 2.5. I'm going to touch down on the surface of my cookie, which is reasonably dry now, and pipe all the way to the other side, touch down again and stop your pressure. And I'm going to do that right across again. And lastly, here we are on this side. Then all I'm going to do is just tuck my piping tip right underneath there and drag out. It's almost to the edge, where you can see there's a little point in your cookie, so it's a really good guide to go up to. Again, I'm just letting gravity do all the work with my lines. Keep your tip away from the surface, you'll end up with a straight line. Instead of, if you try and pipe your straight line directly onto the surface, you'll end up with wiggles all over the place. Now I've got those lines in, all I'm going to do is take a line from those central lines just to meet these points on our cookie. And now back the other way, out to the other side. I like to use two hands when I'm piping. I have one hand that's giving pressure and the other hand that's keeping it nice and steady. Okay, there we go. And once we're at that stage, all we do is take our flood consistency Royal Icing, which we have in our squeezy bottle, shake it all to the end. There we go, and we just pop a little dot onto the end of each one of our lines. And there we go. Really cute and easy. Okay, so we're back to our holly leaf cookie, and it's firmed up quite a bit on the surface now. But remember, when you leave it to dry, not to stick your finger in it like I did, but that's fine. We're just going to use that area to cover up with our little bow. So I'm using my squeezy bottle and my flood consistency red Royal Icing. I'm just going to build up a blob and pull it into the centre. And again, next to it, build up a blob and pull into the centre. And the other way, building up a blob and pulling into the centre, just easing off with the pressure. And again there. And again, we just need to let that firm up before we can pipe in our centre, and at the same time we'll do our berries on our holly leaves. Okay, so just finishing up now, I'm just going to pipe with my stiff Royal Icing in my bag an oval onto the top of my bow, and then again with the flood I'm just going to really fill up that circle and use my scribe tool to just bring that right out to the edges. Okay, so that's the centre in our bow, and now we're just going to take our stiff Royal Icing again and pop some little tiny little berries in 2s or 3s just to the edges of some of our leaves. There we go. So now we have our 3 really cute, really simple Christmas cookies. I hope you enjoyed watching it. If you did, don't forget to give us a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel.